can.
Okay.
Hi, good
Yeah,
morning,
we
good
can say you
afternoon.
hi. Good morning. How's your day so
Hello.
far?
Wonderful. How's yours? I'm watching
Yeah,
some of the sessions. They're amazing.
yeah, it's actually going great. So, are you excited to start your session?
I am. It's in 30 minutes, right?
Yes, 25
Okay.
minutes.
Yeah, I am.
Thank you. So,
I am.
My co-host Melinda will introduce you to the attendees and all the speakers around the world. And after that, the stage is yours, all yours. Over to you.
Yes, hi, Dr. Linda. How are you? This is Melinda Roy.
Hello.
Okay, good.
Yes. Linda Moore. Uh-huh.
So, Dr. Linda Moore's first book went #1 bestseller on Amazon in three categories before it was even announced and launched her into full-time ministry at the age of 72. Today, she encourages women of all ages to write their story and to get ready for their own personal rocket launch into a faith-filled journey to change their own lives first as a step into the future God has always intended them to realize, leaving a legacy of love, hope, joy, and grace for others to follow. She lives in Richland with her husband. They have one daughter and two grandchildren. Thank you so much, Linda. You can occupy the stage. Thank you.
You're welcome. May I make one correction?
Yes, please.
I'm not a doctor.
Oh, I apologize for that. Sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Just
Oh,
hi,
okay.
Linda.
Okay.
You can go
I
ahead with your
understand.
presentation.
Okay.
You can
Thank
go
you very
ahead with
much.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck.
Hello, WIN Conference 2023. The organizers, the leaders, the speakers, the guests, the attendees, friends, and family. I'm Linda Moore, and I'm bringing three things to the platform today, specifically for you. I have a list of questions. I'm going to take you through a small mini mastermind, if you will, and please have pen and paper available and ready to write. And I will be closing with a poem, which is one of the poems coming out in my new devotional to be published early in 2024. So let me get started with the questions. How do you go from point A to point B? How do you go from here to there? How do you go from nowhere to somewhere? How do you go from being no one to being someone? How do you go from being unknown to being known? How do you go from safety to risky? And how do you go from managing yourself to managing others? How do you go from being on a team, like being a team player, to being a team leader? How do you go from the shadows of life to standing in the light? How do you go from the back of the room to the front of the room? How do you go from being in the audience to being on stage? How do you become a leader? How do you become empowered? How do you go from left to right? And then how do you take all of that out into the business world? This is what we'll be talking about today. So let me take a guess. The reason you're not thriving in your power, in your leadership, in your purpose, in your passion, in your potential, in your point is one reason. There's one thing standing in your way. It's your story. You were born for one reason, with one purpose, and for one purpose. And guess what? You already have everything you need. And if it wasn't for your story, you would be operating in all of that already. Remember the story about a man who sold his house and his property because he wanted to go out and search for a big oil field and make it rich and be known and be someone and be a leader. And he never got there because he was always searching in the wrong place. After he died, his family discovered that his property was sitting on a huge, vast oil field. And he died, not ever having tapped into what he was searching for his whole life, right? And guess what? You're sitting on that same gold mine. Your story is gold. It's golden. And it's already inside of you. But guess what? Herein lies the opportunity. When you start moving into God's direction, toward his ultimate design for you, that's when miracles will start to happen. And my request for you today is to take a tiny shift from, no, I will never write my story. There's nothing to write about. I'm not a writer. I never intend to write my story or share anything about my life. It's not important. There are too many secrets. I can't do that. I'm not a writer. And shift to, well, maybe I'll consider it. And guess what? It's that tiny little bit of faith where God will meet you right there and he will multiply the rewards that he has waiting for you. He is waiting for you to come to him and say, Lord, what is it about my story? Help me, I need help. And he will gently, slowly, kindly, specifically for you, start leading you to the story, to writing the story that he has always intended for you to write since the very beginning of time. It's your dream that he wants to share. It's his dream that he planted in you, that he wants you to share. And we just have to get there. Because he has planted it in you. You already carry it in you. It's in your body, in your mind, in your soul, in your being, in your spirit. You have it within you already. It came with the package. You were born with a dream. This is how I like to explain it. Your purpose is just as embedded in you as the color of your hair, color of your eyes, the color of your skin, whether you have straight hair or curly hair, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Now, all of those things are obvious, right? Everybody can see that. It's on the outside of you. but your purpose is not so obvious. And God is the only one who knows it. And he's waiting for you. He wants to divulge it to you, but you have to be open and ready and willing and able. And this is the tiny little shift in faith that we're going to take today so that he can open up all that he has for you, so that you can be all that you can be as a leader, empowered, take it out into the business world. Your voice, your being, it's who you are, but it's being held up. And we're going to get to the point of that. Because guess what? When you get his dream for you, and it becomes your dream, and then your dream collides with his dream, bingo. That's where legacy is born. That's where empowerment comes from. And we're going to start today. Because guess what? We can't be leaders, ladies and gentlemen, until we can lead ourselves out of the pit of our past. Yes, we can't be empowered from the pit. We can't lead from being in the pit, right? So today I'm going to help you, assist you, encourage you to take your pencil in your hand. And I'm going to take you through the same process that God took me through to be able to write my story. There are 6 steps, and we're going to do them right now. And at the end of the 6 steps, then you're going to be able to write your story. But this is a cleansing process, a purification process, if you will. We have so much life that's happened to us and that we've happened to others, and it's still residing inside of us. And it's festering and it's infecting our lives. And we are done with that. We are not going to stay there. We are getting up out of this, right? What we think is muddled, but what we write is the truth. So we're going to start writing the truth today. So take out your journal and cast aside all other thoughts, all other doubts, any ideas, anything that's going on, anything that's taking up headspace today. And we're going to go through 6 steps, and I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write on each step. And this is just the very first beginning, okay? So the very first step is called on the surface. On the surface, what is obvious about your life? What can the world see about you? What's public knowledge? When were you born? Where were you born? Where did you live? Where did you go to school? Who were your friends? Who was your mom and dad? Who were your mom and dad? What did they do in life? Where did you go to school? Where did you marry? Maybe you got divorced. Maybe you have children. Write about all those obvious things. And I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes, and I want you to start now. One more minute. 30 seconds.
Thank you, Dr.
Oh,
Linda.
okay,
Sorry,
stop.
thank you, Linda. Linda
Okay,
Moore.
stop. Now I want move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is called under the surface. So what did the world not see? What is it that only you know? What did you see behind the scenes? What was going on in your life behind the curtain? Under the surface, what was happening in your family, your life, your story? What was the truth for you? Write it all down, start now, and I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, stop. Great job at writing. Now we're moving on to step 3. It's called using a microscope. How did you feel emotionally about everything that happened on the surface of your life and under the surface of your life? Write about the good, the bad, the ugly. What was it like to be you on the inside? Start now. One more minute. Keep writing about how you felt emotionally about everything that happened in your life. 30 seconds. Okay, stop. Thank you for writing. Thank you for the encouraging comments in the chat. Now we're moving on to step 4, and this is called using a searchlight. You're going to go back over your entire life and write down all the times when the earth stood still. What was it that happened to cause your life to never be the same? It can be good and bad both. What were all of those pivotal moments? Start now. One more minute. Okay, stop. We're moving on to step number 5. Thank you for writing. You're doing great work. Thank you for being open to this. It'll change your life. Step 5, using a magnifying glass. Look for all the times in your life when God was magnified. Now, you may not have known it then, but you can clearly see it now. God was there. Write about those times. Start now. One more minute. Okay, stop there. Excellent, excellent work. I'm hoping you're feeling some relief, some enlightening, some opening, some clarity in your life. Step 6, we still have to do step 6. Okay, step 6 you'll do on your own. Now, mind you, when we're done here, I want you to go back and keep writing through all these steps. And I did it over a weekend. It took 4 or 5 days. I did all these steps. And then I wrote my story, and I did it all in a weekend. And it was that book that was published. But step 6 is pivotal. So sometime within the next couple days, I want you to sit down with somebody, and I want you to, it's this step is called share all your secrets. So you will sit down with somebody face to face and share all your secrets. You will not want to do this step. I did not want to do this step, but it was absolutely pivotal to where I am today and who I am today and why I'm here today. Secrets will only make matters worse. We must divulge our secrets. And of course, you'll share with somebody you trust. I actually had to make an appointment with my counselor. This is a very important step. So thank you for writing. I want you to keep writing on into the next few days, the few weeks. Keep writing all these things out. Keep writing, keep writing, keep writing. God will tell you when to stop. You'll know when to stop. And when you're done, then you can start writing your story. All of this has to be done before you can write the story that God has always intended for you to write. I didn't know I was a writer. Let me share with you one of my poems coming out early next year. It's called Must We Be Broken? Must we be broken in order to sprout? Isn't that what happens to seeds buried in darkness before they come out? Could our trauma and trouble and turmoil and terror be called fertile soil? Let's not waste this whole time of roil. Stay close to the hurt, the grief, and the sorrow. Write your way out for future tomorrows. You'll pull strength from it later. Maybe write songs or hymns or ballads, even poetry. And the music that comes goes out to heal others. There is magic in writing, hope in waiting, promises through prayer, rewards for faith, and peace in the process. It's called the rhythms of life through which we dance and advance towards grace. Being buried in darkness may just have its place.
You inspired all of us to write. That was a wonderful story. Rather than a normal speech, you just gave away a practical way. You showed everyone. I think that's how you inspire everyone to write. Maybe I'll think of that. Maybe I'll write it every day and see if I can become an author. Thank you so much for your wonderful time. We all loved it. Uh, Melinda, do you have any questions for Linda?
Yes, yesterday we do have a question for Linda Moore. You really brought the audience with your presentation today. Thank you so much, Linda. So here is the question from our audience. How to rediscover myself and unlock myself to prepare for my purpose?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that again? Something about discovering my purpose?
Yes, how to rediscover myself and unlock myself to prepare for my purpose?
To prepare for your purpose. Just be open. Be
Yes.
open, be searching, be looking, be asking, be knocking, be available, and to listen to God's voice. God is the only one who knows our purpose, and He's the only one to reveal it to us. And all we have to do is take one step towards Him, and He will take one step towards you, 10 steps towards you. The minute He finds out that you're interested in finding out what your purpose is, He will be right there, because He will get the glory, and He wants to get the glory. And he wants to help you write your story. He is the author of your life, and He wants to be the author of your story.
That was
And He
short
will help
and
you.
exactly answered our question. Thank you so much, Linda D. Moore. We hope you enjoyed your session. See you in the next session.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. Thank you both.
Thank you so much, Linda. Yes, this is Melinda Roy and Shruti. We are hosting the event, today's event, WIN Virtual Summit 2023. I know everyone has involved in these sessions today. Hope everyone is enjoying, really getting a very good comments. Thank you so much for your continuous support in us. I want the audience to support more. Thank you so much for all your love. So let's move on to the another session.
Let's move on to our next session. Who's the next speaker, Melinda? Cheryl?
So please join our next speaker session, Ms. Cheryl.